Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Uh, this is a fantastic section in history. Uh, I'll be taking you the course World Politics. World Politics, that is HIS 208. And in this topic, in this course, rather, we are going to be considering some interesting topics under it. The first one is the First World War. Then we are going to consider the Weimar Republic and the rise or the emergence of Adolf Hitler into world politics. Then we are going to consider the Second World War and the aftermath of the war. Lastly, we are going to consider Cold War, but taking it one by each, one after the other now. We'll start with the First World War. The First World War. Now, before I move interns to this war, let me give a brief summary of this First World War. You see, the First World War, why do they call it World War, was that it had to involve almost all the great powers and then some fractional part of the world then, because United States of America was involved in the war. Then the major European powers like France, Britain, Germany, Austria-Hungary at that particular time, even Ottoman Empire, were all all participants in the war. Now, this world war started in what year? It started in the year 1914. That is what, 28th of June 1914. Although the former war started in 28th of July, on the 28th of July 1914, but there have been escalations of war. There have been letters to war. Yes, let me call it letters to war from 28th of June 1914, and then it ended on the 11th of November 1918. So that is, now let me go to the plot summary or the background of the war before I go to the causes and to the aftermath or the consequence of the war. Now, the background of the war. So the background of the war can be traced to the 1870-1871 Franco-Prussia War. Now, what do we mean by 1870? What is the Franco-Prussia War? Long before Germany became a country, it was we do not have a country named Germany. We only have German speaking people. So they were under this empire called the Austria-Hungary Empire. Yes, it was a colonial, it was an imperial government, and then they operate a monarchy system of government. Meanwhile, France, on the other hand, is also a colonial power, seeking for what? They seek for so many colonies to uh, to occupy. And why was the reason for the occupation of these colonies, or what of this territory by France, was that they were able to use the resources of those countries they colonize or they occupy to boost their own economy, and then it will increase their political influence in the world, because at that particular time, the more territories you have, or the more territories you have occupied or colonized, determines the kind of respect you will be given in international settings or in the international system. So now, what happened in that 1870-1871 Franco-Prussian War? This was what we call the German War of Independence. Yes, the German War of Independence. Previously, in 1870, Prussia, 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 under the tutelage or under the control and rulership of this particular man, General Otto von Bismarck. Yes, he was the chancellor of the Prussian nation then, Otto von Bismarck. They had fought a series of war to ensure that they get their independence. The first war they fought with their principal. They fought with the Austro-Hungary, yes, and then the second war they fought it with the Britain to achieve their independence. Meanwhile, the last war they fought was with France. Meanwhile, France was a very strong colony, a very strong country then, full with military power. But in this case now, Prussia did something. Prussia won the Franco-Prussian War, which guaranteed them their independence. But aside that aside the winning of the war now, another thing happen that caused the sentiment towards world war, or that cause there's like a background, the background cause to the world war. And what was that? Was that there were two important cities in France then. We call it Assas and Lorient. I will spell it now. Alsace. Assas, that is Assas. Then Lorient, Lorraine. Those cities were economic poor city. What do we mean by economic poor city? They were cities that had much economic influence on the economic growth of France. Just like we are in Nigeria now. If we are talking of the economic poor city in Nigeria, we will be talking about Lagos and Port Harcourt and Abuja. Those places whereby when you go there, the economy is fast growing. So that is Assas and Lorient. They were very rich. But during that Franco-Prussian war now,